Okay, so those of you who watched the February and March European Tubular Bells tour diary will remember the last episode was in Helsinki, where we had the worst hotel room of the tour, which was about the size and comfort of a prison cell. So in stark contrast, here we are in Sydney, and we have this spacious and reasonably well appointed room, which is nice. Just as well, because we're here for a week. And 7 days in that Helsinki hotel would have killed me, but this is very pleasant. Okay, so I've settled in. Very pleasant hotel room. Nice to be here in Sydney. We flew in from Auckland today, and show tomorrow at the State Theatre in Sydney. And I've been kind of feeling rather strangely as though I'm not abroad, and wondering why. And I've realised, I think in both New Zealand and here in Sydney, obviously everybody speaks English, so that's the first reason. Secondly, you can get a proper cup of tea because of the English connection historically with New Zealand and Australia. You can get a cup of tea. Thirdly, a lot of the architecture in the towns is Victorian, really, and the architectural styles and concepts were imported from the UK. That's my theory anyway. So we're going to go walkers tomorrow. I'll go into town with the 11 o'clock crew bus because I have to load up a new Kemper because we can't keep the one we had in New Zealand. So, and then I'll have a walk around Sydney, downtown Sydney. Australia Shire. We're in Camperdown. Quite a nice hotel, got to be said. We're going walkies. I've been thinking about what to do with these Tubular Bells 50th anniversary tour diary sort of videos, I suppose, and I might put them on my jaywalking playlist because they're going to be primarily me walking around and talking to myself. Well, I flatter myself that I'm talking to you, but whether or not you listen is a whole other matter. I mean, you might put these on as sort of AMSR videos, which are just background noise. And something has immediately struck me. I have to orient myself to the fact that the sun at midday here is in the north, not the south. So those kind of navigational calculations of, oh, if I keep the sun at my back at midday, I'll be walking north, is of course nonsense. So that takes a little orientation. Anyway, I'm going to walk down to a place called Newtown, which is the kind of Hackney stroke Shoreditch of Sydney at the moment. They say it's sort of hip, pop and happening place. It's a very strange street, this. It's full of churches. I think I might get back on. I think I might get back on the sunny side. Breakfast was nice, except for the indifferent stewed coffee. Some sort of strange bird sound. Got decent coffee to be had there. We were in this pub last night where we came for beer and something to eat. Great selection of beer. Food, okay, pub food really. Bangers and mash, fish and chips. That church had its spires and turret lit up last night. I don't know if it is a church or a part of Sydney University, which has buildings up and down this road. So, today's plan. We're playing at the State Theatre, which is in downtown Sydney, the main part. I'm going to go in with the crew on the 11 o'clock shuttle because I have to wrestle my Kemper, my hired Kemper, to the ground and download my sounds into it, which normally means updating the system software first because it is they're usually quite old system files, so I have to update it and then put my backup into it, and then I sometimes have to initialize the user content, which I may actually just do automatically once I've updated the system and before attempting to restore my backup, because I've done it a couple of times the other way around and had to restore the backup again after reinitializing the user content. Am I boring you? Almost certainly. The extent to which I care, well, given the parameters that I value my viewers and subscribers, and I'm grateful to them. No, you know what you get with me. I just sort of ramble. You can always, as I say, turn the sound off and use it as sort of AMSR, ASMR type content. Won't be the first time me droning on has put a load of people to sleep. I used to do it for a living. And here's what I was talking about yesterday in terms of the architecture. You know, these people still worship Queen Victoria, which is everything in Australia. The Queen Victoria Memorial and Albert, is that Pavilion, does that say? Yes, it does. So Victoria and Albert are still great folk heroes here. But the architecture could be any English town, really, in terms of its civic buildings. This must be the Queen Victoria Memorial Hospital. So it's midwinter here. And I'm up walking only with my fleece jacket and a t-shirt. And it's very comfortable. And it's only just 8:30 in the morning, so I think it'll get hotter. I need to check the Google Maps in a minute because I think I'm going where I want to go, but I could be wrong. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, perfect. Go straight across this junction and we'll get to a very major road, but I think I might double through some of the back streets. And I'm definitely going to get back on the sunny side. Hello, how are you? It's entirely possible they don't have a great jaywalking tradition here. Strange mixture of libertarian and what's the opposite? Not authoritarian, but rule following, civil obedience. Now, civil obedience is not a phrase that immediately springs to mind when you consider Australia. In fact, we were quite shocked yesterday to arrive at the hotel and find that the bar had closed at 7 p.m. Alcoholic abstemence is not something that you would normally associate with America, with Australians either. It's also worth noting that in the pub there was absolutely no sign of either Foster's Lager or Castlemaine 4X for non-English people. Those are the two Australian lagers that were the most heavily promoted in the UK. The television adverts suggesting that these were the beers that Australia. No, mission not accomplished. Ho-hum. Of course, the disadvantage of a colonnade is that you're always walking in the shade. Well, not always, but most times a day, depending on how efficiently the roof works. I seem to remember the colonnade in my town where I grew up as a kid. The roof was actually glass. The complete Steptoe and Son DVD box set. There's a thing. Lordy me. There appears to be a very vibrant live music scene here, right down to grassroots level. Lots of pubs and bars have live music going on. Lots of small theatres. What have we got here? Local honey. Oh. Morning.
It's the best honey.
What, in the whole world? In the whole world?
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know about world, but I buy all the time.
Yeah,
it's very healthy. Better than sugar.
Better than sugar, yeah, that's for sure. Where are you from?
I'm from Ukraine.
From Ukraine?
Yeah,
ah.
yeah. Are you Aussie?
No, I'm English.
Ah, English, okay. But long time live here?
No, I'm here. I came here last night.
Oh.
We play music in the city.
Ah,
tonight.
okay, okay.
This
coming, yeah, this music here too.
Yeah,
maybe more
good.
customer come.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
No, I will not become
Yeah.
a vinyl loony. I'm sure if
I recommend you don't hurry. You can find something very interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Bless her. Lots of record shops. Oh, and a happy studio. That's exactly what we need. Like a happy studio.
Oh my God.
Morning, Nila.
Live music, blah blah blah. Coffee and pastries, blah blah blah. Oh, look at this. Yeah, so returning to my notion of what English small town centres could have become, instead of leaving them to decay, this just has an air of happeningness going on about it. Lots of small businesses. Lots of arty endeavours. And it's one of the cliches of urban development that if you let the artists in, the artists come there when it's cheap and move into places when it's fallen so far that the property's really cheap. And then they have a kind of gentrification effect. Well, it's not gentrification, it's more like a civilizing effect. My eldest daughter lives in Margate, and it's a prime example of that, where you still have the drunk and the druggies and the dispossessed rubbing shoulders with the young hipsters who've moved down from Hackney and other areas of London that they're now priced out of. And they run along quite well. There's not really any sense of tension, but it's had the effect on the town of lifting it up and becoming a more pleasant place. School of the Performing Arts in the old St George's Hall. I'm having to read out the names and tell you what they are, because the one failing of the GoPro that I find is that it's not easy to zoom in and out. It's a bit of a palaver. It would be great just to have a simple, so say 2 or 3 preset zoom levels that you could just flick between pressing the button. Any GoPro gurus out there who know how to do this, please let me know. I'm using a GoPro Hero 10 and it would enhance my, and thereby my user's experience massively, if I were able to easily do close-ups without stopping the flow. Right, so where are we? It's now 10 to 9. I need to be on the 11 o'clock shuttle. So I think I might stop at the next convincing coffee shop that I find and then head back. What have we here? Again, you see, these buildings have not been allowed just to rot and disappear. They get used for stuff. Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of Australia. St Constantine and Helen Eleni Church. Local MP's constituency office, I guess. If that was me, fuck off. My daughter Kate would say, I'm walking here. Wow. I don't know what this is. Buddy's self-service boozery. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, okay, I'm going to turn around before I go too far. Oh, what's this down here? Crust? Oh, pizza bar. That might be a nice bakery. But, vegan cheesemonger. Okay, niche shops. Number 1 in the series, hopefully of many. Yeah, okay, I'll tell you what. Let's take a back street route. Let's dive up here and see what happens. Okay, back into the back streets. Anything could happen. I've only got 18% battery left, but we might as well use it up and see what we can see. Oh, a nice little cafe there. Little parade of shops. This could be any English town. See, with lentil, a Flexitarian Eatery. Lentil meatballs and a lime coconut curry. Wow. Lamb and lentil curry. I see what they mean about flexitarian. Okay, cool. That's interesting. Newtown Courthouse. Okay, medium impressive erection, but yeah, not bad at all. With a cop shop next door. And more of these little terraced villas with wrought ironwork all over them. There you go, boys. Huh?
It would have gone down the drain.
Ah.
Yes, sure, but I'm not running anyway before I go.
Oh, I should have stopped there for a coffee. Bugger. Right, so the memorial garden is down this block here. Look at the tiles on this corner building. My limited knowledge would place that in the 30s, I believe, sort of, or earlier 20s, Art Deco sort of vibe thing. Wonder what the rest of the building is to be covered with. But they've managed to preserve those. Somehow the graffiti manages to be well intentioned rather than aggressively intentioned. Decorative rather than declamatory. Okay, let's go up through here. More trees with more roots above the ground than underneath. And that's the fruit from some kind of nut, I guess. Yeah, maybe it's not a cemetery after all, or maybe there's a cemetery behind that wall. I don't know. There's desirable residences to have backing onto the park. There's no immediate evidence of undesirable or inappropriate nocturnal activities going on here. Woof. I speak the language. Warm now. Morning. I wonder if these trees are any relation to what we saw in New Zealand. I don't think they're eucalyptus, are they? I don't think. But they're pretty impressive. Oh, they're really papery bark. Wow.